We're going to make a paste for our golden latte using turmeric, honey, cinnamon, salt, and black pepper, and some water as well. So first thing first is I want to do a 1/4 teaspoon of my cinnamon, a teaspoon of my turmeric, and then 1 teaspoon of my honey, which is a crack of salt and pepper in to kind of give it a little bit of a flavor. And then just a drop of water and mix it into a paste. I'm going to combine this with my milk later to make my latte. We're going to learn how to make froth milk a variety of different ways. The first thing we're going to do is choose your milk of your choice, and we're going to steam up the milk on top of our stove. I have different thermometers I can use, but I just want to get the temperature of my milk to about 145 degrees. I usually don't like to go hotter than that because then it kind of burns the milk. So you just turn it on to low heat, and you just let it go and check in once you start seeing a little rolling boil, that's when you know your milk is kind of ready. We are going to froth our milk for our lattes using 4 different techniques. We have our hand blender, we have a whisk, we have a mason jar, and then we have a French press. I'm just going to pour a little bit into my hand blender cup. And just be very careful. The milk is going to be extremely hot, so you can kind of see it's a frothy milk, and you can blend it to the consistency that you like. So this one is just going to be for a latte, and then you can do you can blend it a little more if you want it to be frothier for a cappuccino. I'm going to pour my milk in. I'm going to knock it to kind of release some big air bubbles, and just blend it in with my turmeric latte. Not quite that much milk, but it looks good. Let's try it. Oh, that's delicious. Yummy. So if you don't have an access to an espresso or your own espresso machine at home, it's okay, because there's a different variety of ways that we can make espresso quality style coffee. This one I just found at City Market. It is espresso instant coffee, so we can try to use that. Or the other one that I really like is to use the stovetop or the Moka pot. So I have a small one here, and I'm just going to go. So what you do is you fill your water just below, underneath the valve. You put the filter in, and you don't want to put too much pressure when you put your coffee in. So you just fill it in. Have a little light tamp, but don't pressure anything. Twist it, and put it on top of your stove, and forget it. And while we're doing that, let's go ahead and make one using your instant coffee. Take a teaspoon of this powder, and I'm going to mix it in with some hot water, and that's going to create my espresso base. Not too much water. And meanwhile, I can hear in the background, actually, I'm just going to create a little bit more. Just going to put a little bit more water. That's actually pretty nice. And it depends on how strong you like your coffee. You can put more espresso powder in. If you like a lighter coffee, then you can do what I just did. And you can also hear that my stovetop is almost ready. You can see it's spewing the coffee out from the top. And here's the trick. To make it espresso quality, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cool it down. Oops. I'm going to cool this first batch of coffee down. And then what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to use that same water and put it back into the bottom of the stovetop. So what I'm doing is I'm using 2 batches of coffee, but I'm using this coffee water as the water for the second batch. So again, I'm going to take some of my milk and pour a little bit in. And this one you have to be really, really careful because it is going to be hot. So what especially when you open back up. So what I like to do is I like to take a little warm, a towel, and making sure that everything is sealed very tightly. I'm just going to shake. And the more you shake, the frothier it gets. It's a good workout too. If you're kind of bored at home, stuck in quarantine, you can always shake some milk to work out. Be very careful when you open, so that way you don't get your face burned. And you can kind of see this creates more of like huge bubbles, not the microscopic bubbles. Let's see if this works. Pretty good bubbles, especially right at the end. There you go. That's how you make your latte or cappuccino using a mason jar and instant espresso. You can actually make quite a bit of milk in here. This is actually my favorite way of getting froth milk without an actual frother. And all you do is you just pump it. I'm going to do, I like mine a little bit more dark, so I'm doing about a half a teaspoon. You can kind of change it according to what your flavor profile is. And I like to put in a lot of honey for mine. So 1 teaspoon of honey, and then some water. And just make it into, some hot water, and make it into a paste. And in the background, you can kind of hear my my coffee boiling in the Moka pot. It's the second batch that I did, so that way it's a little bit stronger coffee. And then this is my matcha solution here. So in order for me to do my latte, you can just pour them. You can pour yours directly in, but I'm going to try and see the foam. Oh my goodness, this is so frothy. This is like a cappuccino quality. This is really, really frothy actually. Maybe too frothy to do latte art. Yep. Oh, look at that foam. Okay. Look at that. That is just from an espresso, a French press maker. So I like just kind of like give mine a little bit of a stir and then drink my matcha. That's delicious. That was really, really good foam. Now, my second batch of coffee has been brewed. So I'm going to pour some in. And look, when you run it through your Moka twice, it's not quite espresso quality, but it's going to be dark. I'm going to use the rest of my milk. Oh my, look how beautiful this foam is. Gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. And there is your cappuccino. Okay, so this is about after 2 minutes of whisking. Unfortunately, my arms are getting tired, so I'm going to settle for this milk. And you can kind of see it does froth it, but it's not going to be like our French press method. So here is my latte with this foam. It is going to break apart more because it hasn't been quite emulsified. So with this method, I actually just use a spoon and scoop the top layer of my foam on. So it's not going to create that creamy texture in our mouth, but you know, this will suffice if you're in a bind and you really want a cappuccino or a latte. So what I do is I get a teaspoon of any cocoa powder, but you can use bar chocolates if you like. And then the next part is my sugar. I do a teaspoon of sugar, less if you like it less sweet, or you can use honey as a substitute. And then I like to put in just a pinch of cinnamon powder and then a crack of salt. Just mix it all up. And I make it into a paste by adding a little bit of water. You have your hot chocolate. That's delicious. And this recipe is for about a 6-ounce cup of hot chocolate or 8-ounce cup of hot chocolate. So just increase the recipe according to your liking. We're going to do Dalgona coffee, which was actually started in Macau, but it got really popular in Korea. And now it's been a huge internet trend to make this really fluffy ice coffee drink at home. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get some instant coffee powder. I'm going to show you a few different ways of doing it, but the first way is doing the traditional way, which is with instant coffee powder. And then with that, I put in 2 teaspoons of coffee powder, and then I have 2 teaspoons of hot water. And this next part is when you need to actually whisk, just lightly melt the instant coffee powder in. And you're going to use an electric whisk after this, so it doesn't have to be perfect. And then with that, I throw in 2 teaspoons of sugar. And then I'm going to start whisking. And that's it. I have my coffee foam. So now the next part is, and you can keep whisking to whatever consistency you want. I don't like my foam too thick, so I'm just going to leave it there. And then the next part is just take some ice, so a milk of your choice, pour it into your cup. It's kind of like drinking your iced latte. Oops, sorry. And then taking this coffee foam and just laying it directly on top. It's a really refreshing drink. It's like drinking an iced cappuccino. The foam is really, really light. Except this is a reverse. The coffee itself is foamy, not the milk. Delicious. We're gonna do the Dalgona coffee, but using espresso instead of instant coffee powder. And here I have some espresso already brewed, and it's been cooled down to room temperature. So I'm gonna start off with a tablespoon of sugar first. And you might have to adjust your recipe just a little bit to make sure that the espresso will froth with your sugar. And here I'm going to put in 4 tablespoons of the espresso powder. I'm sorry, the espresso, not powder. And just whisk it. In here, after getting my milk and my ice, I'm just going to scoop the Dalgona coffee straight over the top. There you are. This is Dalgona coffee made with brewed espresso. Enjoy.